Everybody, welcome back into another edition of the Coach Marco Bryant Show. The Coosa Christian Conquerors head coach Marco Bryant. Coach, you guys had a Thursday night game last week. You knew going in you were going to be up against a very talented, well-coached group of guys in Geraldine. And the game pretty much, outside of a couple of big plays, was back and forth, back and forth. You guys didn't get it done. You ended up losing 26-0. But I'm sure you had some questions answered last week about your team. What were some of those questions you got answered?
That we got some players in the wrong spots for one. We played really hard. I gave up 3 plays for 3 touchdowns, and they were all long runs. So offensively, we're not, I knew this was going to happen. I'd forecasted this to my coaches that I felt like we were going to struggle out of the hole finding rhythm. We just don't have. We're looking for an identity on offense, and we'll get it. I just don't know when. During the season, we'll catch it.
Some of the positive things is, for the most part, your defense played pretty well. They were actually on the field around 80 snaps, though they started getting a little fatigued, but still held up well. Talk about the defensive effort you had.
I played great, other than those 3 bad plays, and they had a kid that I felt was better than anybody we had on the field, and I think that's the difference. Yep. And when you make a mistake, you pay the price, and we made 3 mistakes, and he housed all 3 of them. So
he's a dude, man.
Yep.
And to see him back, I said this on our live show Friday, to see him back from that horrific non-contact injury he had last year is a blessing all in itself.
Absolutely.
Anytime you see a kid go down, nobody's around him, that's usually pretty bad. In his case, it was, but it's been a blessing. Coach, one thing, a bright spot you guys did have is you blocked several kicks. You had to be pleased with that in the special teams.
Oh, the effort was fantastic all night. And you can always measure the effort off special teams. So, I thought we were fine. I think our depth's really good. And I think we're fine. I really do. I think, we're a lot better off than we were last year at this time. We just got to find our identity, and it's going to take time to gel. I mean, it's just what it is. A lot of these kids have never played football together. And so it's just going to take a minute to find it. So, we just got to be patient until we find our offense.
You had essentially what would be an extra day of preparation for this next week, which is good because one of the best games all of last season in all classifications was Coosa Christian at Spring Garden in the playoffs. Talk about what this week's going to look like with the extra day. You playing on Thursday. How's that going to look to prepare for Spring Garden?
Well, what we did on Friday, we gave them, we just watched tape. We got to get their bodies back under them, and I think the kids are a little bit fatigued. So we've utilized that to our advantage for sure. But this game's it's a turnaround in 8 days and play again, and all the way down to 5 days or 4 days, whatever it is. And so we just got to get ready to play.
Now, when you look at Spring Garden, I'm sure you've cut tape on them, watched them, obviously, as well as watching yourself after that game. What have you seen from them? You know that they're going to be physical and they're going to run the ball, and they're traditionally coached well. What have you seen from them?
It's the same Spring Garden bunch. They don't do anything, with big differences they did before. So I know what we're about to run into. It's about to be a war, and they're going to be physical, and they're going to try to hit you in the mouth, and we'll just see. We've got to work to get better. We got to worry about us. We don't need to worry about anybody but us. And right now, that's our concern.
Schematically, Coach Ragsdale took over. Did you see a lot of changes? Mm-hmm. Very similar,
very similar. Yeah. You wouldn't know there's a head coaching difference just off of tape. Now, I know he's probably held some things out, and he's gonna use them come Friday. I know he's sitting probably on a few wrinkles that they've worked on, and he'll utilize them on Friday for sure. But it looks like last year's Spring Garden team, schematically,
which was pretty good.
Yeah,
they're pretty good. Coach, when you schedule, the beautiful part about this game is unfortunately, in high school football nowadays, a lot of people are scared to go play somebody who's better than them or play somebody who's a potential playoff opponent, down the road. But when you scheduled that game, I know you wanted to get a good look, and you knew they'd give you that. And you also wanted to put your guys in the fire early. Well, putting them in the fire against Geraldine and then Spring Garden, how much better does that make your team?
Well, I think you've got, what are your goals? My goal forever, is, and I want to win region championships. I think that's important. It's important for the kids. But if that's your measuring stick, you're not going to go schedule big teams. Well, our goal is, to try to prepare for the playoffs. All right, and what team in the playoffs looks like a Geraldine? Just to give you an idea of where you're at, right, and where you got to go to be able to compete against those teams. And I think that worked our advantage last year, and I hope it works to our advantage this year.
Yeah, getting to go back to Spring Garden, how special is that? Because last year, winning that game when Jacoby Tucker caught the pass inside and Jaden Byrne kicked the field goal in the fog, it was one of the best atmospheres.
It was cool.
It's cool. Getting to go back over there, how cool is that going to be?
I don't find it to be cool at all, actually. There's nothing cool about going on the road and playing. It's we only got 4 home games. I could really use that 5th one to make some money. So it's not cool to me.
You don't think so? Coach?
No, I don't, buddy.
Come on, buddy. You get to take your charter.
No disrespect to Spring Garden at all, but I don't find it cool to go play them on the road again.
I got you.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a very important game, and obviously looking to correct some of the offensive mistakes from last week. What is the number one focus on that offense to get that thing back clicking and like it was towards the end of last year?
We got to find the receiver other than Eli. You need the outside guy that can stretch a field vertically and go make plays for what we do offensively. And right now, it's not that they're not going hard. It's just we don't have that guy that has stepped up and say, throw me the fade ball or throw me the vert. All right, we don't have that guy yet. For this offense to be really, really good, I think we've got to have that guy.
You got to have somebody to make them guard every blade of grass.
That's right.
Essentially.
100%.
I agree with that. The thing about that is it's not easy to find that guy, but you got some talented guys over there that they put their mind to it and dig in, they can get it done. Another thing, when you play somebody like Geraldine, there's some hidden stuff behind the scenes that you had to work on. What are some of those things that maybe people up in the stands didn't notice, but some of the things that maybe drove you crazy?
Yeah, I thought jumping off sides 25,244 times was a little bit insane.
Tell me when they did their pull-outs and shifts.
Especially when we showed these kids 1,000 times to Sunday what not to do, and they did it. That drove me crazy. Not being able to go catch a fade ball drove me crazy. Not being able to run the ball effectively. How do you run the ball effectively on the first series and you can't run it effectively on the second series? That don't make sense to me. All right. And that's the point. That's the problem we have with the offense. It's sputtering right now. And until we can get all the kinks out of it, this offense is going to continue to sputter. And, quarterback play wasn't very good. So we got to get better at that position as well.
Yeah. John David, or I like to call him Sunshine.
Sunshine.
He can get it done. Coach.
He can get it done. He's a really good player. I think we've put too much on his plate. And I think we need to get a little simpler, and that's okay.
It's good.
Let's see what we can do from there.
Final thoughts heading into this all-important week with Spring Garden.
Is that a question?
Yeah, what's your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Let's just go be the best version of ourselves. I hate using that analogy, but I mean that. I think all opponents are faceless. All right, and we need to worry about us. Let's don't worry about, there'll be some hype with this game, right? It's turned into a pretty cool little rivalry. I think you can attest to that.
That's good stuff.
Yep, but I don't think we need to worry about all that. We need to worry about us.
No doubt.
That's my final thought.
No doubt. Well, Coach, I appreciate you, and we're going to shut this one down, but we will be right back next week with another edition of the Coach Marco Bryant Show.